They told us everything was released. Jamie Raskin just proved that was a lie. Millions of Epstein documents are still hidden, and now he's calling it what it is, a DOJ cover-up.
What did you see specific to President Trump or President Clinton, and were there specific redactions to them?
Well, I just gave an example of one redaction related to President Trump. I did not see any redactions related to President Clinton.
What was
I mean, remember,
done in all this?
Well, I don't, here's the thing. The Department of Justice is under orders from Congress to release the entire Epstein file. They released 3.5 million documents, and they've withheld 3 million documents. So about half of all the documents have not been released yet. Of the 3.5 million documents that have been released, I probably had the opportunity to review maybe 30 or 40 of them. Okay, so this is going to be an extremely time-consuming and painstaking process. The Attorney General and the Department of Justice have said that this process was something that was completed by them back in July. These materials could have been released long ago, but they're just being released now. And if every member of Congress who voted for the discharge petition, if all 217 of us spent every waking hour over at the Department of Justice, it would still take us months to get through all of those documents. And there are only 4 computers now, so they would certainly need to get a couple hundred more computers for all of the members. But the point is that there is no way before Attorney General Bondi arrives on Wednesday that we're going to have the opportunity to go through every redaction in order to ask thorough questions.
Do you think that's the connection, that they held up releasing this so that everybody wouldn't be as thoroughly prepared for her testimony Wednesday?
No, I think that the Department of Justice has been in a cover-up mode for many months and has been trying to sweep the entire thing under the rug. And the more deeply that I get into it, because obviously our colleagues on the Oversight Committee have taken the lead, but judiciary plays a very important role because we oversee the Department of Justice. But the more that I've gotten into it, the more I believe that the survivors here, the victims who are now active citizens for justice, really are leading the way. And we need to be having hearings with the survivors to hear from them about their experiences so they can explain what happened and so they can begin to set forth a theory of what took place. We need to be investigating the money. We need to be investigating the organizational hierarchy. There's no way you run a $1 billion international child sex trafficking ring with just 2 people committing crimes, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. No way. It doesn't work like that. So we need to figure out what other conspiracies were involved, what other co-conspirators were involved. And I really do believe that listening to the survivors is going to be our pathway through this nightmare.
Jamie Raskin just detonated one of the most disturbing revelations we've heard yet about the Epstein files, and it exposes a Department of Justice that appears far more interested in running out the clock than delivering justice. According to Raskin, Congress was ordered to receive the entire Epstein file. Instead, what they got was a carefully controlled drip. 3.5 million documents released, while another 3 million remain locked away. Half the truth is still hidden, and here's the part that should alarm every American who still believes in transparency and the rule of law. Raskin says these documents could have been released months ago. The DOJ claimed the review process was completed back in July, yet waited until just days before Attorney General Pam Bondi's testimony to open limited access on 4 computers for hundreds of members of Congress. That's not oversight. That's obstruction disguised as compliance. Raskin didn't mince words. He says the DOJ has been in cover-up mode for months, strategically delaying access so lawmakers wouldn't have the time or preparation needed to confront the Attorney General with fully informed questions. This isn't about logistics. It's about control. It's about preventing accountability. Even more damning, Raskin confirmed that while he personally saw redactions connected to Donald Trump, he did not see similar redactions tied to Bill Clinton in the materials he reviewed. That alone raises serious questions about selective shielding and political interference. Transparency cannot be partisan. Justice cannot be curated. But Raskin went further And this is where the conversation becomes unavoidable. He reminded us that a billion-dollar international child sex trafficking operation does not exist with just two criminals. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were not acting alone. There were financiers, enablers, protectors, networks. And until Congress investigates the money, the organizational hierarchy, and the co-conspirators, the truth will remain buried.